Hello. Today we will be presenting the article The Most Innovative Design Companies of 2025 by Mark Wilson. So in this article, Mark Wilson highlights the top design firms and brands that are leading innovation in 25. Among these brands are Swiss shoe company OnCloud, Shark, Foster and Partners, and also JKR to name a few. And this article really focuses on what design means, not just visually, but also strategically and the technology that goes into it, and also sustainability. This is highlighted in OnCloud's approach in specific. Moving forward, Wilson also explains that 2025 is it's just kind of marking a turning point where creativity is it's kind of merging with AI, and he highlights how AI is going to start playing a much bigger role and factor with these companies.
Yeah, and then for the major points, this article it kind of identifies a list of companies being honored as the most innovative in design for 2025, kind of across products, architecture, UX, and branding. They kind of argue that design is entering a phase of transition thanks to AI, changing aesthetics, rising concerns, kind of climates, that kind of thing. Sci-fi technology is becoming practical. A couple of these examples would be OnCloud, the sneaker brand. They developed a new technology called Light Spray, which lets them spray the entire upper side of the shoe in minutes. No extra glues, minimal components. It reduces the carbon footprint and improves recyclability. So all those factors kind of help sell the shoe over, let's say, other brands like Nike. Shark Ninja, everybody's heard of it. They kind of expanded their product portfolio and built a bunch of viral products, ice cream machines, slushy machines, air fryers, all that. Um, Really solid product, and that's kind of why it's emerged. And Foster Plus Partners, their architecture firm, reimagined the Transamerica Pyramid Center in San Francisco. They increased headspace, views, public spaces, showing how design and like played a huge role in the urban revival. And kind of the underlying message is that these companies are pushing design, not just aesthetics, but kind of more of a strategy, including sustainability and just new and revised business models. The article frames this as design moving from nice to have toward being central and addressing global changes like climate and kind of just exploring new consumer and user expectations.
And then, yeah, how does this article relate to ENT 340? I think this article relates in many ways, but in specific, I think the scaling innovation process is probably the biggest one. All these companies are kind of taking this approach and seeing how they can make or add on to a product they already have and make it more innovative so, they can expand their brand and make more money in the long term. And then I think also the prototyping aspect. In specific, Shark Ninja, they've been coming out with a whole bunch of new products over the past years. Uh, just for example, the Ninja Creamy, which is very popular. Before that, they used the method of, testing in a whole bunch of different homes throughout the country. So they tested in over 750 homes, getting that like great customer insight and just knowing if their product is actually going to sell before actually launching. This kind of ties into the experimentation and learning aspect. So, like I said, all these brands they're not just jumping right into the launch. They're actually taking time and they're seeing if their product is going to actually sell before launching. And then also adding on to existing strengths was one aspect from all these companies that I saw. They're kind of using what already works and they're adding on to it, which I think was very smart and something that made every one of these companies stand out. And then, yeah, how does this tie to the innovators method? This kind of goes with the last slide, but in specific, the insight stage, all these companies, they're able to identify the unmet needs within their brand. So in specific, like Tyler said sustainability was a big factor for OnCloud. They made their new shoe with the idea of saving waste. Um, and not only this, they've been able to do that, but they've also had name brand athletes use these in marathon runs, which is just proving their effectiveness. And then moving on to the problem definition, every one of these firms was able to reframe the challenge and define the problem that they were trying to solve. For example, Quilt and how they were rethinking heating, which was shown in the last slide. And then the prototyping and testing. This is something I already touched on, but Ninja in specific, I really liked how they highlighted how they were testing over 750 homes before they actually launched. So I think this is something that every successful brand really spends a lot of time on. And I think it's something that plays into how successful they are. And then lastly, the business model. So after all these companies kind of added on to what they are already good at, they find a way to make money off it. So obviously, all these businesses already make a whole bunch of money, but they're always adding new innovative methods to add on to their successfulness.
And to kind of end things, for the author's opinion, Mark Wilson, he kind of believed that design is in a time of transition and that the firms featured represent how design is moving into, into strategic innovation. And that tackles big challenges, scarcity, sustainability, new technologies. And it's not just superficial aesthetics. For example, he said in the article, design is in a time of transition. Design is in a position to face an uncertain world of scarcity with an unprecedented abundance of innovation. So his viewpoint, it's more on the optimistic side. Design kind of holds the real power for shaping products, services, and environments in meaningful ways. He argued that companies that embrace this shift will be the most innovative and the most successful. I'd say this example supports his claim. Design is indeed more strategic. We both agree that we can see manufacturing innovation through the light spray and the on cloud business. They kind of made their company stand out um, through the sustainability and business model shifts like Shark Ninja. And then this link between design and sustainability is real, it's growing. And for entrepreneurs, the implication is that design should be central. Thank you for listening.